It's a Tuesday, that means it's update day, my dudes, and this week is the one following the mid-season update that added along with the new maps, weaponry, and all sorts of stuff like weapon tuning. So should we really be expecting a massive and groundbreaking update today? Well, it's unfortunately not the case, and we're not going to be seeing another major update week after week here. We still do have more than enough to discuss. So today, I want to let you know what changed, what's new, and what's on deck for the coming week in Modern Warfare and Warzone. So as we go along, let me hear your thoughts down below. What are you enjoying, or maybe not necessarily enjoying out of today's update? And as well, if you are new to the channel, perhaps a part of that nearly 72% of viewers not subscribed, do be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare and Warzone on a daily basis. But with that said, let's get into the additions at hand. On the playlist side of things, we ended up seeing some additions in terms of Modern Warfare's multiplayer, but also a little bit in Warzone, though it's more so taking stuff away in Warzone. Let's start out with the MP side of things. This week's multiplayer playlists end up including gunfight tournaments, ground war, gunfight blueprints, realism gun game, dirty old houseboat, and bomb objective mosh pit. Now, the big one out of this is that of gunfight tournaments. This has been the first time it's come back in quite some time, if I remember correctly, but it's a 2v2 tournament system with bracket-style play. Out of 16 teams, one will become the ultimate victor here with this. Along the way, you end up getting various different levels of rewards for where you end up placing. If you, of course, win it all, you win all of those items, but for the preliminaries, you end up getting 500 XP, you end up getting a spray. For the quarterfinals, you end up getting 1,000 XP and what looks like an emblem. For the semifinals, you end up getting 2,000 XP and a calling card, and then with the final champion reward, if you're the one that wins it all, you end up getting 5,000 XP, plus what is then a new M4 blueprint, which from what we saw in the roadmap, looks like it's the same carry handle as the M16, and based off a little bit of what we can see with that preview, it kind of looks like the Ranger foregrip as well. But this should be tasked with playing on just about every map that is available within Gunfight so far, though not all of them. Maps in the rotation for this tournament are Isle 9, Pine, Docks, Bazaar, Shipment, Stack, Trench, Speedball, and King. So you'll have a large assortment of maps you may have to master with your duo, but you can jump in and take advantage of that and get yourself some limited time loot. This, if I were to make an educated guess, maybe along for the next week or maybe two. We saw that the last couple of gunfight tournaments exceeded the 1 week mark, whereas the very first one we ever saw was only actually 3 days long. So we'll see how long this one lasts, but jump in while you have the opportunity to and win yourself a nice little M4 blueprint. Realism gun game is the next new one up on deck here. We saw ground war and of course gunfight blueprints beforehand, but realism gun game is your gun game, but just with those realism modifications. The fact that headshots are lethal, the minimal HUD, that sort of stuff is now available within gun game for this new LTM, and it's something, if you like that kind of stuff, definitely jump in and take advantage of it. It'll be a nice little fun spin on it, but that's available for this week as well. Dirty Old Houseboat is one that we've seen beforehand, but it's a mosh pit of different modes on the maps of Shoot House, Shipment, and Rust. So some of those fan favorite maps are now back in that rotation where you can grind out stuff. It wasn't anything like we had Shoot House 24/7 and Shipment 24/7 over the weekend. That was definitely nice, but we're now seeing it back into that one sort of mosh pit of everything. So jump in, take advantage of that if you want to grind out some challenges, whatever it may be. But then Bomb Objective Mosh Pit is the next new one here that we have for this week. This is an objective mosh pit across a various number of maps, but it includes the game modes of Search and Destroy, Cyber Attack, and Demolition. Now, this is definitely one that I think will be a lot of fun. I'm a personal huge fan of Search and Destroy in this game mode. Demolition's a lot of fun, and if you're a Cyber Attack fan, you can jump in and take advantage of this as well. But an interesting little breakaway from some of the stuff we've normally seen here in LTMs, a different pace sort of, if you will, for a mosh pit of different game modes. But those are available in the MP side of things. Once you jump over to Warzone though, that's where things get a little bit less interesting, I guess. For Warzone, we of course see our standard solos, duos, and trios in that battle royale category, but we also still have BR 200 quads continuing on for this next week here. Whether or not it continues after this week, we don't exactly know. Plunder Blood Money is also there, but the big one that was taken off of everything was that of Juggernaut Royale, the weekend warfare playlist, if you want to call it that, in which you had the option to jump into a game, try and fight over the ability to control one of three, or maybe if your team really got into it, 3 of 3 Juggernaut suits. That one was taken away. It was a fun little deviation here, something that didn't track any of your stats, so you could really just have a lot of fun with it. And mentioning the fact that it didn't track stats, that's also something that is interesting to consider, because I had heard people's anecdotal evidence saying they didn't think skill-based matchmaking was a thing in this, and if you don't track stats, that kind of makes sense then. So maybe there really wasn't, in which case, can you come back? But really, outside of that, that's all there really was for the playlist updates in both multiplayer and in Warzone. After the front-facing changes in the content additions here on the playable side of things, we also saw an update to the shop as we do with every single Tuesday. This week, though, it wasn't as much as we normally end up getting. We end up seeing that there were 2 additions here, one in the featured category and then one in the operators category as well. For this, we end up seeing the Seer Kit Plunder Player Pack and the Balkan Blue Lightning Unit, both available for 1,200 COD points. Now, the Seer Kit Plunder Player is one that honestly may be worthwhile if you are somebody that wants to have a cool camo on some weapons that will absolutely do well in Warzone and say Plunder or Battle Royale. But this comes along with the Alabaster Grau 556, the White Lightning AX50, the Seer Kit Plunder Player Loadout Calling Card, the Make It Rain Emblem, and the Get It Low Spray. Now, the reason why I actually say this is actually kind of worthwhile is that if you don't have either of these weapons ranked up, or perhaps you do, but you just don't want to sacrifice any of the camo with the attachments that you'd be swapping out the way the blueprint system works, these are pre-built with basically the meta of Plunder and Battle Royale in mind. For the Grau 556, it comes along with the Monolithic Suppressor, the Tempest 26.4 Archangel Barrel, the Commando foregrip, and the 50-round magazines. Now, outside of that, not utilizing the full 5 attachments, that's almost identical to the meta build that so many players end up using. Toss on a stippled grip tape or a VLK or a tack laser, and then you literally have a build that is the meta Grau. Same thing goes for the AX50 with a Monolithic Suppressor, the 32-inch factory barrel, the tack laser, and the Syngard Arms Assassin. This is one of those rare cases where a bundle actually does fit the mold of the players probably using it, but also doesn't sacrifice anything in terms of that design. But anyways, moving along to the Balkan Blue Lightning Unit, this comes along with the Balkan Special ATU Milsim Operator skin, the Thunderclap M4A1, the Aegean Tide Vehicle skin, the Dual Threat Emblem, and the Thunder and Lightning Spray. Now, if you're a big fan of the M4, I kind of thought this was going to be one that looked a lot cooler. Whenever I first saw this in the COD Tracker display, the stuff that was available in the game files, I thought it would be a much more viable option here for an M4. It looked like the Corvus Custom off the preview, but unfortunately, I don't think I'd use any of the attachments on this Thunderclap M4A1, but it's available there in the shop for you guys as well. Now, the only other main addition here with this week's update came in the way of new intel missions for Warzone. This, again, tasking you with another 6 items to do, track down different locations, secure new intel, and then getting XP along the way, but also in the background, piecing a little bit more of your understanding of the storyline for Modern Warfare and Warzone overall, piecing it a little bit more together. The only problem, though, is that this is something that many players probably will not be able to take advantage of, because last week's was bugged for a plenty number of players, myself included, a lot of my friends included, in which case the footage that you saw of that was actually courtesy of all the same people that ended up just sharing footage. So if you were in that case like myself and many others that did not have the ability to progress off of step 1, or that icon never showed up for you to actually interact with the first step of the second batch of intel missions, unfortunately you're not going to be able to progress through with these ones, which is unfortunate because you need to complete them in succession. You need to end up completing Edition 2, Step 1 through 7. You need to complete Edition 3, Step 1 through 6. Unfortunately, because there has not been a fix made for this just yet, it's not something that players can jump in and jump right over that second edition and go to the new ones, which is unfortunate. But if you ended up getting this and you had the ability to complete all of these, you can end up seeing the first one will take you right above the train station, where you can find another ghost coin and kickstart the entire objective here for this one. But I'm excited to see where these go. I really do hope that a fix comes in the way of this and allows many other players to take part, but for right now, that's where we're at. The only other thing that I want to mention in this video comes down to the idea of a Rytech AMR fix, because this was something that was mentioned was going to be in the next smaller update by some of the developers, but it doesn't seem like that's actually been the case just yet. There was an issue where players could not save blueprints with the Rytech AMR, plus the big one was over in Warzone, you actually did not get a one-shot headshot with the Rytech AMR. That was 100% confirmed to be a bug, and that was something that was being worked out here as what we thought was going to be for today's update. But right now, it doesn't seem like that's actually the case. There hasn't been any official comments on it as of making this video. Perhaps it's a fix that is going out a little bit later tonight, and it's just slower on that rollout process, because honestly, today's update was kind of disjointed. We saw like the shop going live first, which normally doesn't actually happen. It mostly follows slightly behind, but a couple of minutes later, then we saw some of the playlists go live. Then the intel missions didn't come out for another hour after that. So that sort of stuff was kind of all disjointed. It didn't really follow one major drop point. So maybe that's that's the case with this fix and it comes out later tonight or tomorrow or sometime like that, but it is something that right now it doesn't seem like that's been fixed out if you were interested in that. But anyways, that's where we're at. That's the update here at hand and what we have for what changed with today's update. But anyways, with that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. So I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this update? Like it, dislike it, hope for more, maybe not, whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below, and of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare and Warzone on a daily basis. Updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel. So if you're interested, hit that subscribe button. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Probably live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But let's send out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.